One of the hottest topics in the Straight Up Fishing app this morning is the recent cold weather. This is the first time all fall that we've had some true winter weather. Let's just be honest. And everybody wants to know what's going to happen to the fish, what's going to change. And usually when I give my answer, I tend to disappoint people. I think most of us are fishing highland reservoirs in the South. Everything's about context, so it matters what type of fishery that you're fishing. But for most of us that are fishing reservoirs, there's two, maybe three things that you need to know about cold fronts. First of all, on every lake, all year long, there's a group of fish that are going to live shallow, regardless of the weather, whether it's really hot or really cold. And there's a group of fish that live off the bank, offshore. And they live there whether it's cold or hot. It doesn't matter if it's a cold front. It doesn't matter if it's a hot front. I don't even know if that's a thing. Where I live here in the Carolinas, it was in the 20s this morning. And if I was going fishing right now, which I can promise you I'm not going fishing in 20 degrees unless I have to, not that much changes. I know that is a disappointing statement, but I wouldn't change really anything. I wouldn't change my lures. I wouldn't change the areas I'm going to fish. And the reason I wouldn't do that, because everything under the water is delayed. Of course, it was 20 something degrees this morning, but I bet the water temperature dropped maybe 2 degrees, if that, where I live. Now, if you live in Florida like my buddy here, Daryl, I'm sure the water temperature could have dropped 10 degrees. Remember, I said everything's about context and what type of lake you're fishing. But if you're fishing reservoirs and you had a cold front come through overnight in the fall, the fish probably won't be affected that much. Last thing I would tell you to remember is bass aren't reacting to the weather in the same ways that we do. We always think as soon as it gets cold, we feel that on our skin, that the bass are somewhere setting up very lethargic, waiting for springtime to come. These are animals. They live in the environment. They're not cold. The bass are not cold. They're going to eat. In fact, it might even be a little bit better right now that the temperatures are starting to drop. You're starting to get some wind, which is always good on a reservoir, especially if it's a clear water. It might get better. The rainfall and the muddy water that's coming in, that might make fishing better for you. They're not reacting to the environment in the way that you are reacting to the environment. Okay, in closing, in short, one thing for certain, two things for sure. There's always a group of fish that are shallow. There's always a group of fish that are deep. I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's getting hot. I don't care if the water's falling. I don't care if the water's rising. There's always going to be two groups of fish on the lake at least. Number two, what was my number two? Number two is, everything's delayed. I know it just got cold. I know that you don't like this, but the bass are like, what? I don't even feel it. They're not doing what you're talking about. And then the third maybe thing